We have a Fracktaplots problem.
See, what the Fracktaplots do is they go around looking for the most miserable person they can, and then they kill all the people who've been making that person miserable.
Why do they do that?
I don't know! Oh no! Oh no!
You're having sex with my couch, don't you see this? Oh, you're a wild animal, Jeff.
They would always say, stop peeing on us, but I didn't stop. No one can stop the Steve.
Or rather, I have two problems here. Listen, when I first envisioned doing this video, I thought it was just going to be a day in the park. I was going to make some cheap jokes based on the sock puppet movie, and that would be it.
Aliens? Yeah, aliens.
But then I sat down and thought about it, and oh my god. I basically wrote down the synopsis of the movie scene by scene and stepped back for a second, like corkboards covered in yarn and thumbtacks. Everything came together and my eyes were open to new ideas. Beyond that, I tried to do research on the movie to find out it's now considered lost media. Oh, you can find the movie itself on YouTube on this very site uploaded by a fan, but here's the thing, the DVD itself is out of print, and the studio behind it has changed 3 or 4 times since it was made. I found out the director did so many things you would not believe. But at what point do you separate art from artist when you look at something analytically? Is it important the audience be cognizant of these happenings going into the work itself? Is it better it be shown in a vacuum without prior knowledge?
So, how's the girlfriend?
Well, she's
still a bitch?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
My own interest in this film is primarily based on its commentary track, which, considering the DVD is now considered lost media, is perhaps of peak interest to a long-time fan of the work, but of minimal interest to a casual viewer. I'm going to break this down into 4 main topics to keep my thoughts organized. We'll go through them one at a time. The art, the artist, the themes, and the legacy. Starting with the film itself, The Fracktaplots is the story of Nick Dogo, who is tormented by these aliens named the Fracktaplots that constantly bully him in the middle of the night. Talks to believes him.
Hey, you! You suck!
Nick tries to go on with his life and stay with his girlfriend Laura, but her father keeps pressuring him to leave his job and work for him instead. Nick talks to his friend about the situation, and his friend gives him some basic advice.
Oh, well, a woman is like a dog. If you don't like it, all you have to do is drive her to Delaware, leave her there, and get a new one. She won't know how to get back.
But it doesn't matter because the aliens show up and end up killing Laura's parents anyway. We're already a third of the way through the movie at this point. Laura calls Mick on the phone because her parents just died, but since Mick isn't great with emotions, she ends up hanging up and sleeping with the guy.
No, you idiot! My whole family's dead!
What? How?
I don't know. It looks like somebody floated.
Floated?
Yes, floated everywhere.
Oh, you mean exploded.
Yes, that's what they did. They exploded.
How the hell did they explode? Damn it, now I'm saying it wrong.
Nobody knows. My family's dead.
Exploded. I just wanted to make sure I could say that word right.
You can't.
Side note, the movie's kind of entirely sexist. There are only 2 female characters shown on screen. One of them openly cheats on her boyfriend, and her mother is in an abusive relationship to the point that her husband makes her eat screws.
My daughter thinks you're a loser.
I'm not a loser.
Nick tries to confront the new guy only to get his ass kicked the first time, and when he tries to get a rematch, the aliens show up and kill the guy before Mick can lay a finger on him.
Let's end this. What?
See you later, queer.
No! Mick ends up calling television's Timothy Stack. Yeah, that one. Anyway, so Timothy Stack is a paranormal investigator and quickly deduces that Mick has a Fracktaplots problem and offers to help.
Well, it looks like you have yourself a Fracktaplots problem.
A Fracktaplots problem?
Mm-hmm. And they are annoying. Let me tell you, you do not want to have a Fracktaplots problem. Hard to get rid of the damn things, but it can be done.
Breaks into Mick's house in the middle of the night, drags him into the backyard, and starts a fist fight. According to Tim Stacks, the Fracktaplots will leave if they see him stand up for himself. Unfortunately, Mick can't do this, so the Fracktaplots ends up killing him too.
Mick!
I'm sorry. It's hard for me to hit you. I kind of consider you as a friend.
Mick! I hate you! You're failing miserably at this!
Okay, I'm really going to try to hit you now. Ha!
This was a bad idea!
I'm sorry, I'm trying not to hurt you. Like I'm trying to hit you really hard without hurting you.
Well, something worse is going to happen if you don't hurt me!
You have a red dot on your face.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Mick thinks that the Fracktaplots are going after everyone he cares about, so he decides to break up with Laura, but he's too hesitant. The aliens figure out what's going to happen and kidnap her instead. Mick doesn't want anyone else to die, so he wakes up his friend who's been giving him advice throughout the film, and the two board his rocket ship to go after Laura. Side note, this dude builds a rocket ship off camera, but we're focusing on Mick's obsession with cheese balls and shitty television. Okay. The rocket crashes into the alien UFO and we finally get to see what the Fracktaplots look like. Fun fact, we're 50 minutes into the film, and the film is only 65 minutes long, with credits. We get pretty much the best possible action sequence you can get from sock puppets before finally Mick ends up killing both of them.
But the only way you can kill me is if you push this button on my chest. Yeah.
What?
You gotta push this button.
Oh, that button?
Yeah, you gotta push this button, and then I'll die. But you'll never make it close enough to me, not little Mick!
As the UFO loses control and crashes towards the Earth, Mick finally gains the courage and self-actualization to finally speak his feelings, and he breaks up with his girlfriend.
Laura!
What?
I want to break up with you!
I wanna break up with you too!
I hate you, Laura! I've hated you for a while now,
I hate you too!
so we're done! For good!
Yes, forever!
Mick gets his job back, gets a huge raise, and his friends take the crash UFO to the moon because apparently there's a moon girl that he's in love with. I can't even really say anything about the lack of female characters in the movie or how they're treated. In the first part of my self-published book series, The Leviathan's Garden, the main character is motivated not once but twice by the death of a female family member. First his mother and then his long-lost twin sister Calypso, and although I will argue that both of these were important in the bigger story, for example, Calypso was the embodiment of the attribute of death, and it was in character for her to loop around and overcome death in such a way to pass her attribute onto her brother so he could go up against their father, the Leviathan. The fact that I was the one who wrote it that way means I could have written it better. Anyway. The film was made by Robert Benfer and released by Big Idea Pictures in 2010, a studio that no longer exists. According to the Benfer wiki, it was just knoxescorner.com redone to be badideapictures.com, presumably so it could move away from his Newgrounds days. He's expressed in a lot of videos from around this time that he regrets getting so much fame from his Clay World series, feeling boxed in and creatively stifled. In 2012, that website changed again to thebenfer.com, which is now entirely gone from the internet. Much like all traces of the film itself, actually. We'll get into why I think the film is good in a moment, but right now I want to throw some stuff out. You could find the Fracktaplots on YouTube, but you won't find any trace of it on Robert Benfer's channel. Instead, you'll find the archive movie uploaded to the Knox Files channel page listed as a piece of lost media. Then there's a literal sock puppet account using the name McDogo, which hilarious. It hosts all of the Fracktaplots related videos he used to have on his channel, including some others. And that channel is pretty cool considering that Robert seems hell-bent on taking down his old stuff, so it's nice to see it somewhere. Normally I'm really good at cyber-stalking information. For someone I've been following for nearly 20 years, you'd think this would be easier. Oh, and then there's a review of the Fracktaplots already up on YouTube. That's embarrassing. Let's see if they made any of the same points I made.
I really think that if you're a fan of Robert Benfer or Clay World in general, you should totally check this movie out. It's really cheap for the digital download, that's what I got, but the DVD is only $8 plus shipping, so you should definitely go support Robert and buy that. I think the movie is awesome. I actually need to get this movie on DVD. I want to hear the commentary.
Well, Strike. Number one, I'm really glad you learned to do better audio mixing. Hopefully I can do the same. Number two, you mentioned wanting to hear the DVD commentary. No! Just doubled my work. After watching the entire movie again, there are a few sections of the commentary worth noting, and for good measure. I also checked the next movie by Robert Benfer and Steele that came out the year after this movie did nick the feature film in that movie's commentary track around the 18-minute mark. Jason states,
Yeah, this is art.
I kind of like the idea of adding depth to what is essentially a terrible movie.
I mentioned that first because it lets me lead into the commentary on the Fracktaplots where Jason just talks it up, while Robert is almost embarrassed of his own creation. Twice in the commentary track, Robert laments the special effects of his sock puppet movie by comparing it to a video Jason put out around the same time, Dr. Fabulous.
Called Dr. Flabulous. And you're
I got
I remember
freaking 100 emails about that.
when you released that that movie,
I flew here on a gigantic eagle.
Really? Through millions of light years of space?
Yes.
Why do I even bother when you can just pull ridiculous crap like that?
Zog.
I was actually working on the final part where the ships were at the end where they're in the UFO and the UFO's going down.
Yeah.
And I was working on those effects, and I looked at your effects, and it made me feel like shit. You have like motion tracking, and all these sky replacements. I'm looking at my ship like just falling across the sky, like.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think your stuff turned out pretty good.
Oh.
There wasn't any time when I was looking at an effect and I was like, that's crap.
But it is crap. Your movie. You had like spaceships flying in the air off in the background, like so much detail.
Yeah, I had like 40 ships in the background.
Like, and here I can't even do one spaceship.
This happens around the 12-minute mark and again at the 58-minute. Around the 28-minute mark of the commentary, Jason talks about a time around 2005 or 2006, shortly after Robert's first feature-length, The Clay World Off the Table, came out. Basically, Robert had made an insanely large amount of money, and he decided to spend it rapidly without really thinking anything through.
Man, I remember it. I have this one.
You were in that movie too.
Yeah, well, I have this one memory of you, like doing this live stick cam thing, where like you have this like 4-way conference call going on your phone, and you've got your phone inside your mouth, and your mom's behind you like yelling at you for like because it's not like a free call. You're paying like a huge rate for this 4-way conversation going on in your mouth.
Where she cares my money.
What was that? Wasn't that like over $200 that bill ended up being? It was like some ridiculous amount.
I think so. It was. Yeah, it was.
That's where your Clay World money went.
Just fair enough, as he was just a teenager. However, going back to the Benfer wiki, it looks like he canceled his 2007 film project, Villain, over budgetary concerns when the IRS found out he had properly filed the income reports for the Clay World movie. According to the wiki, no exact monetary value has been given up by Robert, though rumors stated it was around $50,000. Here's a clip of him asking for beer money, by the way.
And also, for every $30, I'm going to have a beer. So for every $30 that I get before the live show starts, that's how many beers I'm going to have to drink on the first live show. So that's going to be a blast. It's going to be like a party. And I'm also going to be turning 30 that week. And I also hit 200K subscribers. What a crazy time I'm living in right now.
Totally unrelated. I am, at the time of writing this, emailing Robert Benfer to see if I could buy a DVD copy of the movie right now. I'll let you know if he responds. He didn't. For good measure, I also tweeted him and Stuart the Sock because, I don't know, it seemed appropriate. The theme of the movie is actually really similar to my last thesis video where I talked about the difference between Power Rangers and Kamen Rider. Link down below. Which is to say that for character development to be effective or interesting to watch, you need to have the character overcome obstacles on their own. I would argue that that's what a Fracktaplots problem is, at its base core. An outside force hampering characters' development by specifically making sure they don't overcome any obstacles in life. In the film, the Fracktaplots incessantly bully Mick Dogo, but are also floating out of reach so he can't do anything about it. They only start killing people when Mick is about to stand up for himself, and Timothy Stacks even calls them out on this correctly, might I add. When Mick throws a rock at the UFO after Laura's abduction, the Fracktaplots get quiet and immediately run away. As if to say, you know, stand up to your bullies. I mean, don't get me wrong, the movie's full of jokes, but I personally think we should add a Fracktaplots problem into the same trope-based lexicon that we have phrases such as Chekhov's gun or break the fourth wall, as such a simple phrase can be used to describe such an interesting and complex problem that a character is facing. A good example for this would be the cliffhanger in my second self-published book, The Behemoth's Ring, that shows Kevin, after getting stronger over the course of the novel, and about to fight the main antagonist, immediately whisked away to a far-off Mad Max-style future. Although this pulls him far away from his goal, he basically just starts over and has to find his way back. That is both a Fracktaplots problem as well as the opposite, or a deconstruction of a Fracktaplots problem. The Fracktaplots part is that he's whisked far away from his goal and all of his training is basically useless, but then the fact that he has a new immediate goal negates the Fracktaplots part of the issue. TV tropes used to have a disclaimer on their site saying, you know, having a trope isn't a bad thing, because literally everything has tropes. Used to have it, it's not there anymore? Weird. I suppose my example is both played straight and deconstruction. But the other example is the Green Power Ranger. Still not over that. I would very much argue is, in himself, a Fracktaplots problem. His whole existence is that fan service. He shows up, stops any of the main characters from facing obstacles themselves, and then continues to do so until he leaves. Tommy Oliver is a Fracktaplots. I will digress one final moment to talk about my third self-published novel and the end of the trilogy. I'm talking Feathers of the Z's, which I know you can stop telling me it doesn't really make sense to go from the Leviathan's Garden, Behemoth's Ring, Feathers of the Z's. Like, I've talked enough about that. Feathers of the Z's has like this part that's like a metacontextual analytical piece that shows like what it is to be a main character. It has all the main characters from the previous two novels kind of coalescing together and struggling to figure out which one of them be the metaphorical leader of the team. They all have to team up together to use the four attributes of life, death, time, and strength together to try to defeat the actual embodiment of evil, the physical manifestation of the Leviathan that is going to destroy the entire universe. The reason why I keep bringing up these novels is the impact of the Fracktaplots. What I have learned from Robert Benfer. That's simple. Create a good story, put it out there, destroy everything so that nobody can ever see it again. Because I've tried to contact Robert Benfer through email, through Twitter. He hasn't responded. So the only thing that I know to do is to follow suit. Destroy any and all trace of the story so that nobody can find it. Thank you for teaching me a lesson, Robert Benfer. I know you didn't mean to, but I appreciate it. Well, that's my video thesis on Fracktaplots. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like and comment on the video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Sharing, very important. Sharing is caring. You can find all these other videos listed on the sidebar over here. And if you give me $1 on the street corner, I will do a special dance for you.